I'm leaving home for the coastline, someplace under the sun. I feel my heart for the first time, 'cause now I'm moving on, yeah, I'm moving on.
Good afternoon everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Diana Goldberg. I'm an independent funeral celebrant, and it really is a privilege for me to be conducting this afternoon's service. Welcome to our service of remembrance and celebration of the life of Ronald Walter Rusack, known affectionately to some as Ronnie, but mostly as Ron. Ron faced his illness with a quiet strength, never one to complain, never one to make a fuss. But today isn't about that chapter. Today is about the man that he was long before it, and the mark that is left on every single person in this room and the room downstairs, because he was a popular man. Looking around, it's clear to see just how much he was loved. Family, friends, neighbours, colleagues through the years, so many of you have come to honour him. And the family are truly grateful for your presence. We take great comfort in knowing that Ron meant something special to each of you. So hold on to your own personal memories, as later in the service there will be some time for you to remember him in your own way. And we have a number of people who will be sharing stories, memories, special tributes throughout the service. Stories that will paint the full picture of Ron in all his colours. So let's begin that journey together with Ron's mother-in-law, Jenny, who's going to share with us the poem, Robins Appear. And before she does, we should say that Juliet and the boys had a little Robin visiting their house 2 days after Ron died. He sat on Ron's desk and in Juliet's hand.
Can you hear me all right? Yes? Robins appear when a loved one is near. Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day. They're unseen, unheard, but always near. Still missed, still loved, and so very dear.
Thank you, Jenny. And it's with that thought in our hearts today that we turn to reflect on a life that truly mattered. A life full of stories, habits, quirks, and moments that shaped each of us in this room. So let's take time to remember Ron. Ron's story begins in Ratho, born to Eleanor and Ronnie, the eldest of their 3 children. Big brother to Claire and Carol, and by all accounts, the kind of big brother who could be protective and a proper nuisance. Claire still remembers him stealing her deodorant, women's deodorant, and I wore it proudly. Ron was born above the family pub, the Virgin, a place that was more than a business, it was a way of life. The pub, the restaurant, the canal barges, it was all part of the family's rhythm. And from a young age, Ron was in the thick of it. Health and safety would have been a field day. But he was practical, he was capable, and he was always willing to muck in. And that's where his lifelong love of the canal and boats began. He looked after the boats, he repaired them, and before long he was one that was driving them while diners sat back enjoying their cruise. He was the youngest to get his licence. And when he started, he was so wee, he used to have to stand on lemonade crates just to see where he was going. So school was Rathole Primary and then Balerno High. But Ron, he was itching to get out into the world. And at age 16, he did exactly that. And he worked constantly, trained as a mechanic, helped in the pub, worked the boats, and still somehow found the energy to go clubbing and hit the best raves in Scotland. And his taste in music varied, but dance and David Guetta's Titanium became a fun favourite. Ron's 18th birthday was naturally on a boat, a riotous night, that ended with him in the canal, which to be fair wasn't a one-off. Ron ended up in the water, that was practically a tradition. So work-wise, Ron served his apprenticeship at Sloan's Volkswagen, and he stayed there from 16 to 32. And that's where his passion for Volkswagens, especially Golfs, really took hold. And he still had 2 vintage ones sitting outside the house. Even his fashion choices were Volkswagen themed. And he combined his love of cars and dancing by heading to the Volks Fling Festival in full style. Now Ron wasn't just a man of the canals. He was 8 years of age when he learned to water ski, taught by his dad alongside Claire and Carol. Some were willing, some less so. Ron was very willing and very able. He scooted along the water at 70 miles an hour, giving his mum plenty of heart stopping minutes. His skills were so impressive, he ended up as Santa Claus on the water, on Glenn Michael's Cavalcade on the telly. And for those of you that's too young to have heard of it, it's a brilliant show. It ran for 26 years through so many of our childhoods, broadcasting cartoons on Scotland's telly. And if you were lucky, your home-grown crafted birthday card and any special mentions made it onto the telly. But Ron, he did one better. Aged 18, he was Santa Claus, water skiing on the Forth, on the telly. He even made it in the evening news as well. He loved teaching others too. Many here will remember trying to politely decline, only to hear, "Don't worry, I'll give you a wetsuit." And he was patient, he was encouraging, and absolutely in his element. The boat that pulled him along was called the Cordon Bleu, a nod to his dad's work in the food industry. The very boat which Ron later renamed Obsession. And from Sloan's, Ron moved to Port Edgar Marina, a dream job where he worked with boats all day, every day. Later, he became the operations manager for Capercaillie Cruises at the Falkirk Whale. He sorted everything from mechanical issues to fridges that wouldn't work and toilets that wouldn't flush. He could turn his hand to anything. Claire, she remembers his posh phone voice when dealing with customers who ended up with the whole family looking up going, "Who is that?" It was back in 2000 that Ron met his lovely Juliet. They met at the canal and she asked, "How do you get a ride on one of these boats?" "Come down here tomorrow night at 6:30. And so she did, along with her friend. And it was a gorgeous night, a full moon. And Ron, well, he knew the way to Juliet's heart. He broke open a packet of Kit Kats. And soon Juliet was water skiing and she was signing up to a life of boating. They were together a year and then they bought a Arcadia cottage in Trafficking. And 2 became 3 when they got their black lab. And a week later they discovered they were going to be 4 as Juliet was pregnant. Archie was born in 2005 and the family was complete when Logan was born in 2006. Ron and Juliet newly married in secret in 2010. Both the boys were there, though they thought they were going on holiday, and before they know it, they were putting on kilts. And the four of them, they were back home within the hour, changed, and then they were headed up north to Betty Hill, a tiny wee village on the north coast of Scotland, for the family honeymoon. As a dad, Ron was always there for his boys. He said he was always up for a laugh, the party, I know. And with any ideas, his view was always, let's go. He was 100 miles an hour. And the boys, they remember lots of trips, viewing and picking up boats with Dad. They would end up in a harbour, a boatyard or a marina, normally with an additional boat, engine or trailer, but always carefully considered logistically, collecting the trailer before the engine made things that easier with the already packed car. Both dogs, Corey and Embo, had many a journey snuggled into a newly acquired boat engine. In the house, the door was always open. There was always someone staying over, which they all loved. And now it feels right to hand over to Gráinne. Gráinne's going to share with us some of her thoughts.
I'm actually going to read this from my phone rather than the script as a helping sort of alternate over the course of the morning. My name is Ronald, and I'm more commonly known at the Gingerbread House as the Lodger when I was there. But to me, Ron was one of my very best friend's husband. He was like a brother, a steady, caring presence who made life brighter just by being part of it. He lives on in the lessons he taught us and all the memories we have of him. I've known Ron and Juliet for over 20 years, and I've collected an endless list of my own wonderful memories with them, and here are just a few. And some of you, or most of you, will recognise one or two of them. Dressing up as ABBA for party and sticks. Singing at the top of our voices in the kitchen to Jennifer Rush, The Power of Love, over and over and over again. Juliet doesn't like this one. The fabulous holiday we had last year in Edinburgh with so many of our friends. The party on the last night on the beach, we'll all remember. My 50th birthday party, some time ago, but Ron dancing in the kitchen in Juliet's netball dress and red knickers with his cheeky grin. We laughed so hard, and I actually do think there's a photo downstairs somewhere of it. Ron pole dancing at Aoife's 18th birthday in the back garden. Some of us will remember that. It was a broom handle, I think he was dancing. And then trying to teach me the water ski some years ago. Never worked. Still can't do it. And then the family invited me to live with them for 3 months between buying and selling houses a couple of years back. And in that time, supporting Aoife while I was in. They were amazing. And then, some of you will know this, some of you won't. But I think the guys here in front of me will laugh. Salad cream, not there. Pickled onion monster munch. And haggis and egg rolls would be Craig Cafe, best ever. And many, 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 many party nights at Gingerbread House. But one very special one, and I will always be so grateful, is when my niece Alice and her young family came to visit from Devon, spending a day with Ron, Juliet, and the boys on the boat at the Loch Earn. It was just another day for the Rusacks, but it was truly made my niece's holiday. It's just a perfect example of who Ron and the family are. They're generous with time, with laughter, with love, and always wanting others to feel happy and cared for, and always the more the merrier. Ronnie had a way of showing them, quietly, consistently, and without needing recognition for anything he did. He also had a well-known habit of making sure no one's wine glass was ever empty, and I think all of us would know that. You never quite knew how many you'd had when Ron was about, but it was always done with a smile, a laugh, and the unmistakable warmth that he always had. He was, quite simply, one of the kindest men I've ever known. His generosity wasn't for show, it was just who he was, and I don't think I've ever fought over who would pay a bill for lunch or for dinner than I did with Ron. Maybe Juliet, but Ron more so. Juliet, Archie, Logan, you were Ron's world. The love he had for you was constant and deep, and will always surround you in the memories you share. And the lives you continue to build together. Ronnie, thank you for your kindness, the laughter, the dancing, and the love. You'll always be remembered, and you'll always be missed. With love,
Don't know. Ron was the cool dad, the one that could help with anything. He picked the boys' first cars. He was in the thick of the action, in the company of the boys and their pals, joining the crew down a pint. The cool dad. Around the house, though, his best contribution was lighting a candle. Or the fires to make the house feel homely. He certainly didn't know when he did the hoovers and that. And when it came to cooking, well, he was great at turning the oven on. He was good for freezer dinners. Anything with chips, always served with carrots and peas. To be fair though, dinner was always on the table. And I believe he did make a cottage pie once back in 2014. Juliet never heard the end of it. He liked his food, he could get hangry though. And he was the man that was obsessed with pea pods. He used to clear the shelf of them in supermarkets. Ron struck gold when he met Juliet, a woman who embraced boats, could weld, and could cook. She was a keeper. They were the perfect fit together. Off they'd go in the van that he converted into a camper. Juliet, she embraced his hobbies, and he supported hers, including breaking the ice for her cold plunges. He was warmly welcomed into Juliet's family, the Grants, Jenny and Ian, Karen and her family. With so many great times shared on holidays, especially up in Melfort, the destination of choice in August every year, on dry land or out on the water. And how brilliant that Ron had a father-in-law that loved sailing. So they had a speedboat, they had a sailboat, and all the kids almost had webbed feet, spending so much time out in the water. And so all the holidays were water related. And I invite Ron's father-in-law Ian to share with us some of his good memories.
First introduced Ronnie to mountains. He'd never been into a mountain. We went up there and broke. Anyway, that was the introduction. I'm going to tell a little story. It's called The Cairngorms Revisited. About 20 years ago, Ron, my brother Alistair, and myself went to the Cairngorms. It used to be a teenage haunt of mine. We were to spend the night under the shelter stone. For those who don't know, it's a cave-like refuge under a huge boulder. We headed up over the summits of both Cairngorm and Benmacdui, before dropping down into Glenarm, where the shelter stone lies, amongst a huge field of other boulders, all having fallen off the cliffs above over the past eons. After our meal of mince and tatties, followed by a big dram, and lots of efforts to stop Ron's snoring, we drifted off to sleep. Later, I was rudely awakened with loud whispers. Ian, where's your torch? Ron and Alistair were in a panic. Both sat bolt upright in the pitch black, saying, "It must be big. Is it a bear? Or a wolf? Or a pack of wolves?" said Alistair. There in the torch beam was a mouse. It's ghostly shadow in the cave wall was scary. It was the noise of the mouse attacking Alistair's packet of hobnuts that had caused all the panic. One waking in the morning, I crawled outside into a beautiful blue sky day. I put the kettle on and sat there enjoying the majestic scenery, listening to the sounds of water spilling down the cliffs all around. As the kettle started to sing, my two stalwart companions who had gallantly saved us in the night appeared blinking in the sun over Loch Orn. It was a wonderful end to a traumatic night.
Thank you, Ian. Family meant everything to Ron. He cherished time with Juliet, Archie, Logan and the wider clan. Many memories were made at his dad Ronnie and Drusilla's house in Ratho, another family hub. And fittingly, Ronnie and Drusilla, they met sailing a boat along the canal too, like Father likes him. Ron worked for Capercaillie Cruisers at the Falkirk Wheel until just before COVID. After his mum sadly passed away in 2019, he decided that life was too short to always just be working. So he became the master of his own destiny and others, and was self-employed from then, buying and selling boats and cars. Something he'd been doing for years as a hobby, but he turned it into a proper business. And he sold paddleboards, wetsuits, anything he might need to take to the water. This really was his dream job. Ron still worked hard. He was never off the phone doing deals. He loved the parking, in work and in life. Even if buying a sofa or a bed, even haggled in North Face and buying a sweatshirt for Archie. And Archie knew it was coming. Don't, he pleaded. But Ron couldn't help himself. And yes, he bagged himself a wee discount. Many a deal in the high street. It's time for me to pause once more, and I'm going to hand over to Archie, who's going to share with us his special tribute to his dad.
I never really understood just how much Dad did for us. Sadly, now we see. It's the quiet things, the things he just got on with, without us ever really noticing the scale of the backstage work he was doing every single day. Car batteries and MOTs, apparently you need to keep on top of these. Who knew? Heating oil doesn't just magically refill itself, and a cold shower in January is not ideal. Logs don't walk themselves in from the log pile and stack them on the fireplace. And glasses, it turns out, don't top themselves up either. These realizations are hard. Painfully hard. But alongside that sadness is an enormous amount of gratitude. Because we were lucky enough to have a dad who would do anything for anyone, no matter what it involved. No matter what it took. Whether it was to give us an opportunity, solve a problem that no one else could, or simply share his laughter. From freezing his tits off to give us one final ski of the day, to quietly fixing the things behind the scenes that we never even knew were broken. Dad just did. No drama, no complaints, just action. Together, Mum and Dad were an unstoppable team. Big things, small things, it didn't matter. They always had an answer, a solution, an idea, and above all, an attitude of, we'll get it done. And somehow, they always made it fun. Dad was never one to seek the spotlight. He liked to keep himself to himself, his thoughts and opinions quiet. But put him near a party, there was no stopping it. One night stands out, he left us at rugby club heading home for work, offered Jake and Carl a lift in the current. But when we got back in the early hours of Sunday morning to crash, the house was alive, kitchen disco in full swing. Dad, stone cold sober, was dancing on the tables, fully in charge of the music. Having turned the kitchen into a full-blown dance floor, and that was Dad. Nothing ever stopped him. He frequently led conga lines, and not your average conga. These went over tables, under legs, inside and outside, king of joy and laughter everywhere. He was the party. But Dad wasn't just about fun. He taught us how to live. On the boats, he gave us the skills to be safe, responsible, and confident on the water. He didn't hold us back, he trusted us, and that trust went both ways. He taught us independence, responsibility, and respect, not through lectures, but by example. We've been lucky enough to grow up in a house where the door is always open, where everyone is welcome. Where the rule is, don't build a higher fence, but build a bigger table. Not just the things he fixed, the problems he solved, or the parties he led, but the warmth, the generosity, the trust, and the love. We miss him, but we carry him with us in the laughter, in the stories, and in all the quiet things he did without even saying a word. Thank you.
Ron was quiet, but full of personality. More of a listener. But when he spoke, people listened. When the family moved to the gingerbread house, Ron promised endless dad and mum taxis to the boys to their clubs. He was always good for a wee lift, and latterly the boys were able to give those lifts in return. Ron used to enjoy mountain biking, and he played a spot of football. He wholeheartedly supported both Archie and Logan as they played for the Lithgow Rugby Club. He was very animated at the side of the pitch. He didn't know the rules, but he shouted in. We now have an extra special tribute written by Archie and Logan's friend Neve, honouring Ron as a little dad.
Rugby Saturdays with Ron. Saturday comes, the boots go on. Another week, another dawn. When Lithgow Reds in scarlet pride, and Ron is there, the touchline side. National 4, we've hit the road. Through wind and rain, the miles are old. The usual crowd, the same old view, and Juliet too, match day through. Memories are made with family and friends, where match day starts and never ends. Camping at Hurry, stories told, and green at grain that cut right cold. Far and wide the journey's made for muddy fields and match day trade. A faithful few in red and black, turning up and always back. No need to shout, no need to steer, just always there, year after year. Cheering the Reds, his lads as well, in quiet ways he knew so well. The scrum is set, the body strain, a battle fought in mud and rain. At 9, the call, the pass, the pace, another moment held in place. The final whistle, pints in hand, stories shared where friends all stand. Through every game, both far and near, Ron's place was known and always clear. And now, when teams run out once more, there's space along the sideline floor. A place that still feels sure and true, a place that will belong to you, Ron.
Ron was dedicated to supporting Archie and Logan in their rugby, in their studies, and with their dreams and their aspirations in life. He was so proud of them both and their many achievements in their lives so far. He was a man that broke the rules, occasionally. When he received his diagnosis, he asked, "Can I drink? Can I water ski?" The answer was no, but yes, he broke a rule or two. His illness didn't stop him. He was brave. He crammed in as much as he could. He even bought a boat. He went to concerts, gigs, and yes, he did water ski. Right to the end, he lived his life on his own terms. Ron's life was a blessing, his memory a treasure. He's loved beyond words and he's missed beyond measure. We're going to now take a moment's quiet reflection, a chance to pause, to breathe, and to think about Ron in your own way, the moments that you shared, the things that he taught you, the memories that rise to the surface when you hear his name. As we do, we're going to listen to Old Pine by Ben Howard.
and sleeping bags. I come to know the memories were the best things you ever had. The summer shore, beat down upon me back so far from home, where the ocean stood, now dust and pie and bone tracks. We slept like dogs down by the fireside, over to the fog all around us, the bloom of summertime. We stood steady as the stars we would, so happy-hearted in the warm, right chill inside these bones. Was the old wild affair we sang. Just this morning. I sat on toes, coats and sleeping bags. and all the friends around are little holes and smoke in my lungs. Already approached on careless and young, free as the birds that fly. Lately so we stood steady as the stars in the wood, so happy-hearted in the warm, right true inside these bones. We stood steady as the stars in the woods, so happy-hearted in the warm, right true inside these bones. As the old bar fell, we sang. Just to listen home. Stay as the morning grow. Oh, let's see it out, grow. Happy as a new dawn, grow. Oh, let's see it out, grow. Steady as the flowers you grow. Oh, let's see it out, grow. Happy as a new dawn, grow. Oh, let's see.
Moments like this remind us that Ron isn't gone from our lives. He's carried forward in the stories that we tell, the habits that we've picked up from him, the love that is left behind. Grief changes shape over time, but the memories, they stay steady. As we move forward, maybe keep sharing those memories, supporting his family, and carrying his spirit with us. Friends were hugely important to Ron throughout his life. There's too many to name everyone individually today, but you know who you are, what you meant to Ron, and what he meant to you too. We are going to hear from two of his friends, though. First, I'd like to invite Juliet to come up to share some of his memories.
Wow, tough gig. I've known the guy half my life, and today I find out his middle name. I won't tell the rest of you, I don't think you want to do it. Ron and I met in '98, and to be honest, we didn't really seem to have that much in common. I was a sort of hippie uni student. He was a racer boy mechanic. But what we did have was bikes and boats, and it turns out that's enough. Over many flotillas, much time on bikes, and in, on, and under boats together, we forged a strong friendship. We worked together, we built boats together, we built homes together, and ultimately we built families together. Well, not. Anyway, I'm here to tell a story about Ron, and there are many to choose from. Juliet's worried about this. but you needn't be. There's many stories I won't be telling. I won't be telling the one that includes the phrase from Ron, it was tickling my dangly bit, or the worst food imaginable, which Ron decided was poo lollies. I think you'd agree. I won't talk about his pleasure at his post-surgery pee and how he had to invite me to share it with him. Or the day he said to me, I'm sorry about the suit. We used to share a suit. We never both needed one at the same time. He said, I'm sorry about the suit. I've worn the knees out. You can figure out why. Or the day you patted my willy and congratulations, we were going to have a child. All the time I had to phone Juliet and say, yes, he's with us, and he's fine, but we are in A&E. This story is a much simpler one. It's one of us mountain biking. We were riding south on the West Highland Way. And there's some lovely flowing sections through the woods, single track. There's also some big, wide, fast descents with these sort of boulder fields on them. And normally I could keep up with Ron on a descent. I could never catch up with him. I tried that once and it didn't end well. But on this particular ride, he kept disappearing off into the distance. Every time we came to a boulder field, he would shoot off ahead, whilst I'd slow down and try and find my way through this thing. And I thought, it was like he was defying gravity. So when I caught up with him, I said, Ron, how are you doing that? And he said to me, Jay, gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Old time is still a-flying. Carpe diem, mate. Carpe diem, you must seize the day. Oh, sorry, no, that was Robin Williams and Dick Post. But Ron basically said the same thing, but in his own way. What he actually said was, I don't know, I just try and keep the speed up, pick a line, stay light on my feet. And over time I learned that, yeah, that is what he did. Not just mountain biking, that's what he did in life. That's the way he went through it. He had no time for sitting around and pondering action. He'd just get on with it and trust himself to work out the details as he went along. That's why he's first in the water, that's why he's first on the dance floor, why he became such an amazing speed skier, how he met Juliet and had kids, how he bought a wonderful house at auction that many people wouldn't have taken the risk on, and how he turned his hobby into a living, and how he did 1,000 other things as well. So this way of Ron has become a sort of phrase in our family. Anytime we're a bit unnecessarily unsure as to how to go about something, we'll look at each other and say, let's just Ron it. And to run it means to get on with it, to sort the detail out as we go. It works. I recommend it to you. It's how Ron managed to fit so much life into his life. So, as your challenges appear and the possibilities appear, think of Ron. Keep your speed up. Pick a line and stay light on your feet. Basically, Ron. Thank you.
Ron and Xander, they met back in their teenage years. Lots of socialising. And Xander has a little boat too. The gents had many a trip down south to pick up some boat. Some of their best memories were made on rib trips out in the water, island hopping and camping. And I've got some of Xander's words to share with you now. He says, I first met Ron in the early 90s through water ski racing. And we ended up in the same race team, and our friendship continued from there. With our boating connection leading me to work alongside Ron, with restaurant barges and Santa cruises at the Bridge Inn, which was more often social life than work. Ron always liked to be on the go, and this led to some great cycling, camping and boating trips. In the early days, a couple of memorable trips to the Norfolk Broads, and surprise, surprise, Ron managed to bring a boat through called Loch Ness. This would be one of many more boats purchased over the years. After I moved to the Highlands, Ron was my best man. Myself, Jane and Leila have enjoyed many a great weekend and holidays, boating adventures and camper van road trips. Ron, Juliet, Archie and Logan. Not forgetting Volks Fling, the VW car show, which became an annual meet-up, and the rib trips with the Easy Company group. Memories which we shall always treasure. He said Ron had a kindness about him. His warmth was genuine, and his friendship was something many of us were lucky to share. Not forgetting he was the life and soul of the party, and you could count on Ron to be the first up on the dance floor, encouraging everyone to join him. Ron, you will be deeply missed and forever remembered. Xander, Jane, and Leila. Now we've heard so many beautiful tributes today, each one painting another part of Ron's life, each one reminding us how deeply he was loved. We're now going to hear from someone who held Ron's heart, Juliet, his wife, his companion, his constant. Juliet, when you feel ready.
Wow. It's amazing to have you all here. Thank you so much. It says a lot. And I'd just like to take a moment to consider that depth of love that we've experienced from all of you and from so many that love Ron. The messages passing to each other, the glasses quietly raised, the flowers, the gifts, the log splitter, the hugs, the laughs, the tears, the walks, the runs, the hands held, the cold dips, the favours given, the coffees, the memories, the flights made, the roads driven, the cards written. We feel the love given. We are counting every one, and if we could have a light for every thought, every card, every action, what a glittering bright sight that would be. We are thanking you for all that love for Ron and us from our whole hearts.
For Ron and all of you, if every single person who liked you in your lifetime were to light up on a map, it would create the most glittering, beautiful network you could imagine. Throw in the strangers you've been kind to, the people you've made laugh or inspired along the way, and that star-bright web of you would be an impressive sight to behold. You're so much more than you think you are. You have done so much more than you realise. You're trailing a bright pathway that you don't even know about. What a thing indeed. It's Donna Ashton.
Ron and boats just went together. I'd be safe to say that his first speedboat's name, Obsession, said it all. I was in competition with them. I would say, if you loved me, name a boat after me. Well, after 23 years, I came home from work one day and there was my name on a beautiful boat that we took on holiday for 2 weeks. Juliet went to York. I was delighted. But Juliet did not come home. She was sold by the end of that trip. And as far as we know, she's still there. Xander, Jane and Layla spotted her a few years later. In fact, any opportunity to sell a boat Ron would take, or anything else for that matter, he would never miss a sale. The garden still looks like the tide's gone out in the harbour. So if anyone needs a boat, you know where to come. But I will keep one and name her Ronnie.
Ron was many things: practical, fearless, stubborn in the best way, full of mischief and full of heart. He lived fast, he loved deeply, and he never wasted a moment. He didn't complain, didn't make a fuss, and didn't let anything, even illness, define him. He leaves behind stories that will be told for years, skills that he passed on, laughter that he sparked, and a family that he adored. He leaves behind boats, engines, memories, and a legacy of saying yes to life. And that's how we'll remember him. Not for the last 8 months, but for every wild, warm, wonderful year before then. Ron lived life at 100 miles an hour, and he lived it well. And today we honour him by carrying his spirit forward with courage, with humour, and with that little let's go attitude that he brought to everything. Thank you. Thank you all for being here today at this special service just for Ron. Please remember his story doesn't end here. It does continue on in each of us, in the ways that we remember him, the ways that we live out the things he taught us. Thank you for being here and supporting his family, and for celebrating a life that truly was well lived. Refreshments will shortly be served for you, along with images and music that many of you have shared with the family over the last few weeks. It's time for you to share your good memories of Ron. Cards have been placed on tables if you wish to write a memory for the family to treasure. Family and friends, can I ask for your patience? There's a lot of you. There's more of them downstairs as well, so please do be patient. The venue are doing a tremendous job. We're going to make sure everyone is seated as soon as possible. But you know, Ron, he would have been first to the bar and the buffet. So please do feel free to make your way downstairs as our closing music commences. And there you'll find 1,000 twinkling lights to represent all the love and support that surrounds the family and surrounds Ron. Family will join you shortly after. Also, as you leave the hall, just at the bottom of the stairs, you'll have the opportunity to make a contribution to our retiring collection, and that's for Marie Curie and the RNLI. All monies will be donated in Ron's name. And please also remember to take a little tea light home for love, and a daffodil to plant to remember Ron. Thank you.
I'm leaving home for the coastline, someplace under the sun. I feel my heart for the first time, 'cause now I'm moving on, yeah, I'm moving on. And there's a place that I've dreamed of, where I can free my mind. I hear the sounds of the season and lose all sense of time. I'm moving far away to a sunny place where it's just you and me. Feels like we're in a dream. You know what I mean. The summer air by the seaside, the way it fills our lungs, the fire burns in the night sky. This life will keep us young, yeah, keep us young. And we will sleep by the ocean, our hearts will move with the tide. And we will wake in the morning to see the sun paint the sky. I'm moving far away to a sunny place where it's just you and me. Feels like we're in a dream. You know what I mean. I'm moving far away to a sunny place where it's just you and me. Feels like we're in a dream. You know what I'm moving far away to a sunny place where it's just you and me. Feels like we're in a dream. You know what I